All right, so as I said, we are going to discuss tobacco today. And you guys came in and you guys had a journal question that you sat down and you worked on. And the journal question says, what is a drug? And then what was the other question that was on there?
How many chemicals is cigarettes?
Okay, and how many chemicals? So for those of you that didn't use your online resources,
I'll put sip.
I appreciate you raising your hand.
Sorry.
That's okay. So for those of you that didn't use your online resources, that's okay if you did. Okay, but those of you that didn't, just out of curiosity, what were some of the definitions that you came up with? I saw your hand.
Oh, enough to kill.
Well, what's that?
Enough to kill.
Enough to kill. Okay, what'd you say?
Oh, wait, for the first or second?
The first one, what is a drug?
I wrote, it's an addictive substance that is
I thought
harmful to
you
your
said
health.
for.
So an addictive substance that, say that again, an addictive,
Is harmful to your health.
that is harmful to your health. Okay, so what'd you say? What's a drug?
No, a drug is something that you mix with something else.
A drug is something you mix with something else. Medicine that can be anything. Okay. Okay, great answer.
A substance or medicine that changes how you think or react.
That changes how you think or react. Okay. Yeah.
A substance that can either be helpful or harmful.
Okay. So I'm hearing a lot. When we first started, most of you were saying that it was bad. Drugs are bad. Okay. When you guys hear the word drugs, do you think bad? Most of you do think it's bad, but some of you are like, no, because I've taken drugs before that have helped me get rid of a headache or that have helped me feel better, right? Okay, so thumbs up or thumbs down, just to get a visual from you guys. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Are all drugs bad? Thumbs up if it's a yes, thumbs down if it's a no. Okay. All right.
Yes, all drugs are.
Okay, so you think all drugs are bad? Okay, so we've got a few of you that are still not on the same page. I'm going to give you the definition. And I'm actually going to give you, after I give you the definition, I'm going to give you guys some of the key vocabulary that we are going to be talking about. And I'm actually going to give it all to you. They're all written down. The only one that you're going to add to it is the one that I write on the board. Okay, and Indira, will you actually pass this out while I write this on the board? Thank you. So, the majority of you, just based on the percentage of your thumbs up, thumbs down, said that drugs could be good or bad, right? Some of you, I saw still, gentlemen, I saw some thumbs up that you're like, nope, all drugs are bad for you. So I'm going to give you the definition of a drug. And when you get your definition, or the key vocabulary, on the bottom space where there's a little bit of space, I want you to write this definition. Question. Exactly. And we're going to talk about that. Yep. Okay, so a drug. Okay, those of you, when you get this, on the bottom of your paper, and I'll reiterate this again, on the bottom of your paper, a drug is a substance that changes the way, thank you, think, feel, and or act. Okay, so it's on the board, written. A drug is a substance that changes the way you think, feel, or act. So a couple of you, again, still feel like all drugs are bad for you. Thanks, love. We're going to maybe change your mind. Okay, what are some examples of some drugs? And you're going to have to excuse the spelling on some of them and before we get to that, I know that we talk about different and unique things in this classroom. We do have to make sure that we're not gonna share personal stories. We're gonna start with someone I know. Okay, I don't want you to go through your medicine cabinet and give everything that's in your medicine cabinet. Okay, I've had a student try and do that before. All right, so make sure that if you are gonna share something, we're not gonna make any assumptions. Maybe somebody saw this drug on a commercial, maybe they know somebody that takes this medicine. We're just gonna list off medications, but whenever we share a story, okay, the stories that I share are gonna be stories that I have permission to share, but we're not gonna share personal stories in here. Okay, and if there's a comment, you can say someone I know. But right now, let's list off some drugs that we know. What's one?
Oh, like what type of drug?
Just a drug. This is very broad definition. That's why I put this definition up here. Give me a drug.
Cocaine.
Okay. Okay, what's another drug? Okay. And it's one of those things where that's not spelled correctly. Vodka. What's that? Vodka. Okay, what's another one? Lean. Ooh. Okay, what's another one?
Advil.
Advil. Okay, what's another one?
Tylenol.
Tylenol. Okay, what's another one?
Marijuana.
Marijuana. Okay, what's another one?
Weed.
Okay, weed and marijuana are the same thing. What's another one? Pardon me?
Aspirin.
Aspirin. Okay, what's another one?
Crystal.
Okay, so meth. Okay, what's another one? What's that? Cigarettes. All right. We're getting a pretty good list here. We're going to keep going just for a minute. Alcohol, okay. So vodka and alcohol. So we're just going to go alcohol, which will cover all of them. What's another one? Heroin. All right. What's that? Zyrtec. I don't know what these are. What's another one? Motrin. Okay, all right. What's that? Pot and marijuana are the same thing, and we're going to go over that, and that's totally okay. Same as weed, Mary Jane. They have a lot of different names. Yeah. Tylenol. I think Tylenol's up there already. Yep. Okay, what's another one? Okay, let's do NyQuil. I think that's only one N. Zithromax. So we're going to say the Z-Pack because that's typically what they call it. Okay, that's another one. So for the tetanus shot. Okay. Xanax. Okay. Opioids, yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna do one more.
Cannabis.
Cannabis is marijuana. Okay, so all right, so all of these up here, are all of these bad? Thank you, honey. Are all of these bad for you? Okay. We're going to talk later on about the difference in some of these drugs, over the counter versus prescription versus illegal. John, I want to make sure, because I saw a few of your thumbs up and the thumbs. So you said all drugs are bad, but have you ever had a headache before? Have you ever taken something?
No, I don't take meds.
You have? Was that bad that you took that something for your head? So not all drugs are bad.
I don't take anytime I ever don't take it. I just leave it all.
Okay, so
I know what you're saying.
I'll convince you. If you abuse them, yes, they are. But we're not talking about drug abuse. So, you guys gave some of the obvious ones, and I applaud that. But we're missing a few. So, a drug is a substance that changes the way you think, feel, or act. I have to say, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm not. I wish I was. I don't like the taste of it. I'm not a coffee drinker. But one of the things I do, and this is a really bad habit, but I drink pop. What does pop have in it?
Acid.
Well, it does have that, but Caffeine. Okay, does caffeine change the way that I think, feel, or act?
Yes.
You talked about
Sugar. You get sugar.
it does. Okay, so is caffeine a drug?
Yeah.
By the definition,
It's mixed with chemicals.
we're not talking about aspartame. We're not talking about all the other things. It's got caffeine in it, which caffeine is a drug. How many of you guys how many of you guys went trick or treating?
I mean, well, oh yeah.
Okay, tell your shoulder partner one piece of candy that you ate that was your favorite candy. Okay, a lot of Snickers. Okay, so bring it back. So I didn't hear any apples or oranges or bananas. Okay, so most of you guys had some sugar. I heard a lot of different candies just listening to you guys share with your partner. Gentlemen. So I heard a lot of different candy. Does sugar, again, does sugar change the way you think, feel, or act? My kids last night, they got one with dinner. After their dinner, they had some sugar. So they got to choose one candy. And then at 8 o'clock, when it was their bedtime, can we have some more? Well, heck no. You're already wide awake. I'm not going to give you sugar because what's that going to cause them to do? Yeah, right? So can you guys, outside of the obvious, can you think of any other drugs that change the way you think, feel, or act outside of the ones that help us get rid of a headache or get rid of a flu? So antibiotic here. So outside of the obvious, and then caffeine and sugar, were there any other, what could be a drug? What's another one? Medicine? Well, yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Turkey. Okay, maybe during Thanksgiving. Yeah. Okay, well that's a drug, and that's an illegal drug. Yeah, and we'll get into that. Sodium, salt. How many of you guys? And I'm guilty of this, but how many of you guys have salt on the dinner table or whatever? You put salt on it before you even taste it. It's just a habit.
Yeah.
Okay? How many of you guys put salt on your food? Okay. So, yeah. Maybe. So, are there any other things that change the way you think, you feel, or you act?
Could water be considered? Because if you were thirsty and you drink water,
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You guys, how many of you guys have ever went to a party and they had helium in their balloons and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, what does it do to your voice?
it makes me water.
All right. So, yeah, that's a drug. It changes the way you think, you feel, or you act. It's a drug. So, the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the different types of drugs. But today, we're going to focus our time on tobacco. Here's what I'm going to do. I have some sweet tarts here. And I do need your attention. In fact, I think that we're done with the computer, so you guys can just close it down. Don't log off because we might use it again, so just close it down right now. Here's what I'm going to ask of you. We're going to do a task. But we need to emulate, okay? Who can tell me what emulate means? Reenacting, okay? We're going to emulate chewing tobacco, okay? And we haven't talked about it yet, but how many of you guys have ever seen somebody have chewing tobacco, either in front of their lip or in their back? More than half of you, okay. So, here's the deal. Understand that when we teach about drugs, I am not in any way promoting. The goal of me to teach these things, and one of the objectives for me to teach this, is for you guys to learn the negative effects, okay? My dad passed away this year, okay? Some of you had me last year as 6th graders when my dad was very ill. My dad we talked about this a little bit last year, and I said, hey, can I share stories about you? And this was last year. But I lost my dad this year, at the end of January. It was hard. And the reason I lost him was because he smoked. And he smoked for 40 years. He didn't make it to his 65th birthday because he was a smoker, because of his choices. I couldn't make him quit. So this, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is a really, really hard lesson. The next couple days are going to be really hard because I lost my dad because he didn't listen to the scientific evidence and the facts behind how bad nicotine, cigarettes, tobacco is for you. Okay? If anything, maybe you'll feel the emotion that I'm feeling, and this will be something that you never start. But understand that when I do teach about this, this is not in any way to promote smoking or tobacco. Okay? It's to let you know how fast it can happen to you. He was 64 years old.
64?
He was 64 years old, but because of his choices to put this stuff in his body, this is Sweethearts, put tobacco in his body. Okay? So understand this is really sensitive material for me. Okay? And it's a hard lesson. So I do appreciate that you guys are such a rock star class. So we went over what emulate was. We're going to reenact what chewing tobacco is. Except I thought about using Tootsie Rolls, but I think Sweet Tarts are going to have more of an effect because when you put Sweet Tarts in your mouth, you kind of pucker up and saliva starts to happen, right? So if you don't like Sweet Tarts, I'm sorry. I hope you can still do this. Okay, so I'm going to put these on your table. I'm just going to cut the top open, and there's 3 in each of them. Okay, I'm going to cut the top open, and you're going to pass them out. When you pass them out, you need to put them in your mouth. It needs to go on in between your teeth and your gums, somewhere along the bottom of your mouth. And it needs to stay there until I tell you. You cannot chew it up. You can't eat it. It needs to just sit in your mouth. Okay? So, once you get it, please go ahead. Pass them out. Everybody gets 1 Sweet Tart.
I can't do that.
Okay, here's the thing.
So you go one side, you go the other side.
All right, there should have been 3 in all of them, but did you guys all get one in this room? Okay, I know, I love your face. Did you all get one in this room? Did you all get one in this room? Okay, did you all get one in this room? Do we need one more? Okay. All right, so I would do this with you, but I would be able to say and talk as well. So I'm not. And my look at that. So here's what we're gonna do. You are not allowed. You can swallow if you need to. Okay, you don't have to leave the saliva in your mouth because I know you're overproducing right now. So, but I need you to not chew it and not play around with it with your tongue so it gets smaller. I need it to just stay in a certain spot in your mouth. So, I'm going to set the timer right now. In 10 minutes, we'll revisit this. Okay? Okay, so right now, what we're going to do, yes. If you need to move to the other spot, but just because I know it gets pretty sensitive. So in the 10-minute mark, the buzzer will go off and we'll stop. So while you're having that in your mouth, what we're going to do is, you guys have the key vocabulary right in front of you. I'm also going to be giving you a little bit more. So you're going to be able to use some of those definitions. Okay? And you're going to work with your table partner on this crossword right here. It should only take you about 10 minutes. Okay? If you do need to use the computer to help you out a little bit, you can open one of them per partner group. Okay? And I'm just going to kind of walk around. Okay? You're more than welcome to talk, but still keep that Sweet Tart in your mouth somewhere. When the buzzer goes off is when we'll stop this, okay? How many of you hate me already? Hate is a strong word, but.
Strongly dislike.
Okay, alright.
It's not gonna stay there. It doesn't work.
Is that bothering you? Okay. Alright.
Like I'm gonna get it.
It's gotta stay on the bottom.
That's how
Bro, hey, you gave me a rocker.
Yeah, I'm doing
I need to smell a rocker. You still got to smell one.
Alright, so go ahead with your table partner. Using the key vocabulary list that I gave you, in addition to prior knowledge, in addition to the computer access, go ahead and answer these few questions.
No. Bro, I'm just working. What?
If you could make sure to hold your table partner accountable. And if you have questions, please raise your hand.
This is a word bank.
That is not a word bank.
Found it. Yeah. I'm trying so hard.
I haven't given you a word bank yet.
Oh.
So, well, no, you're going to use it without the word bank right now. Yes. Yep.
I know. Right now, I'm just
Bless you.
active stopping something at a time.
Ow! What is
I appreciate the maturity, ladies.
You gotta fill as many as you can.
Yes, honey. Okay, did you ask your table partner first before you asked me?
Yeah, I never
Okay, did you ask your table partner before me?
It says in Mace's growth of tumor. You can talk. Tars like this.
They're online, honey. They're online if you go to their they're online. You go to the Google Classroom. Print one out there. Okay.
Bye-bye. Oh, hold up, I got this. I know everything now. This is my one that he gave me. Wait, never mind.
For those of you that are struggling, I am making a word bank up here for you to use. For those of you that are struggling a little bit, I am making a word bank up here, okay?
These are right.
Without withdraw. This is how you spell withdraw. There's not another A.
I gotta relapse.
Only 4 minutes left.
I know number 5, I got number 1, I got number 4, I got number 9, I got number 2.
She's still recent Jamaica.
Still there.
Just waiting for the next one to pop up.
No, what's up now? We're playing.
It's relaxed.
Number 9 is left.
I know that. No, 7. You know what oh no,
Peer pressure. Peer pressure. Two. Peer pressure.
where you see that?
Wait, it was just there. Where did it
Why you always behind? No. Hold up, I got you.
Okay, the words are up on the board and there's 2.5 minutes left. You will not finish and that is okay.
You see the last word? No, last one right there. Yes. I'm writing it.
That's
Oh my God.
Hey, what did you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, a minute. Yeah.
Draw. Good draw. Wait. No. Wait. No.
I said it's not the trap. It's not
There gotta be 5. These are. I'm just gonna do C.
That's okay. Okay, again, the words are up on the board. Yeah, I know, some of you are just looking at the time.
Yeah.
It might have been a bad idea to put the timer up there, but at least it gave you.
Wait. Number C gotta be the longest word ever.
All right, so timer's done.
I can't see.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Matt, eat it.
if you would like to chew it up, swallow it, if you would like to go to a garbage can and spit it out, you can do that too. If you just like to chew it up and have it normal in your mouth like you would normally have a sweet tart, feel free to enjoy the rest of it. Okay. I put a few.
Man, my lip's worse.
And buy your.
All right, I'll wait for just a few of you to make sure that you're ready to go. All right, so can I have your attention up here?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so here's what. Aiden, can I have you sit down, bud, and just close that door? Thanks, love. So I've got a few questions up on the board, and I'm gonna ask some of these questions. So the first question is, you guys can read it. Did the tobacco, again, the tobacco, which not really the tobacco, the sweetheart, remain in place? So did it stay in the same spot?
It moved in the
Okay,
same
so-
area.
Yeah.
Kind of.
No, kinda.
In the
Okay.
same area. It moved like in the same area.
Okay. So in your small groups at your table, just tell the people in your group, is the next question says, where else did it spread? Go ahead and share that with them. All right, so get a timeout. Eyes up here. So, how many of you, it didn't go anywhere else, it just stayed right where it was at, and there was no flavor or spit that went anywhere else?
Put your hands up.
So, just a quick question, just to make sure that you're following. So, when it was in your cheek, there was no saliva with the flavoring that went anywhere else in your mouth?
I've got mud, just like I did.
Okay,
I couldn't taste it.
Yeah, I couldn't really taste it.
okay, so, how many of you think that it just stayed in that one spot and didn't go anywhere else? How many of you swallowed some of the saliva that you had in your mouth? So if you swallowed it, you're swallowing the saliva of that sweet tart. Okay, all right. All right, so were you able, just by thumbs up, thumbs down, were you able to talk clearly? When you talk, thumbs up, talk clearly. You were able to talk clearly, most of you. Let's see, everybody's thumbs up or thumbs down. If you're middle, we got a couple middles. Okay, we got everybody's thumb over there. Okay, so put your hands down. How many of you wanted to spit? Raise your hand if you kind of wanted to spit some of that saliva out because you were overproducing. Okay. Okay. So the majority of you said. Okay. So the next question is gonna get you thinking a little bit. It says, when people develop oral cancer, where do you think the cancer begins?
Where their tobacco?
Where the tobacco was. Anybody else raise their hand and want to share
Wherever,
where the tobacco was? Okay. Middle table, do you guys have any other explanation of where the tobacco would start? For oral cancer in your mouth, but where though?
Your tongue. Yo,
You say in your tongue. Okay. Okay. Who can tell me, again, we haven't learned this yet, I want to see what we know. Who can tell me, how do doctors treat oral cancer? Oral is your mouth. How do doctors treat mouth cancer? Okay, surgery. Aiden, you raised your hand, thank you.
I think they do something else.
They do something like cut it. So surgery, some form of surgery.
They would like replace it, like, I don't know, never mind.
we did.
Okay.
Clean it.
Clean it, so like kind of scrape it off. Is that what you're thinking? Or just clean it? You think that you can just scrub cancer off your gums?
No, I don't think like surgery, but I feel like they put medication on it.
So you think there's medication? Okay. How many of you think that there is a cure for cancer? Raise your hand if you think that there's a cure for cancer. Okay, we got a few people that think there's a cure. How many of you think that there is a treatment for cancer? Meaning they can treat it. They might not be able to get rid of it entirely, but there's a treatment. Okay, so everybody's on the same page there.
Because
So,
they said there is a way to get rid of cancer, but they say the people with the money, like if they lose like their plan, it's like if they lose again because like during the summer, that I did.
okay, middle table, please check your friends.
It was about learning about stuff, and then they said if you look at like a barber thing, it said cancer on it, but that's like if they mix it with other chemicals, it can cure cancer faster than like at St. Jude doing it take like a year or so. They could cure it with just one.
So But you know a miracle medicine that cures it. Okay. I haven't heard of this miracle medicine yet, but hopefully
It's not
there's something
yet
out there.
Because
Oh,
the
it's
people with the money, they
middle table.
they won't publish it out.
Okay.
They wanna keep-
So it's not approved yet. Okay. So how many of you guys have heard of chemotherapy? Okay. How many of you have heard of radiation? Okay. We're going to talk a little bit more over than that. And then surgery. Those are the 3 ways that this is treated. And again, we're going to cover this a little bit more later. Do you know anyone, and again, I don't want you to tell me the names, but does anybody in here know anybody that has oral cancer? Okay, you know one person maybe. Okay. Okay, and again, don't share their names. Okay. That was one of the things that my dad started with. They were able to give him radiation and treat it and get rid of it so it was not detected. That was not how he died. He died from lung cancer. So, but he did have a form of oral cancer as well. Okay, so the 3 people that raised their hands, is there any symptoms of oral cancer? Okay, so there's some tenderness in their gums.
On that commercial, she had something in her throat because she couldn't talk out her mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's from their throat, though, not their mouth. And we'll talk about the difference between when they have a trach tube. Okay, we'll talk about that. Yeah. Okay. So the cancer is, destroying some of the other parts of the mouth is what? Okay. To simplify that, Aiden. You said okay. All right. So these are a few questions that just are a little deeper in thought that we're going to talk about. And I have a few more activities. I think we've got about 7 minutes, and I don't really want to get into. I think we can do one more. So one of the words on there starts with an E. One of your key vocabularies. Okay. Okay, I want you guys all to find it on your key vocabulary sheet that I gave you, and I want you to put your finger on the E word. Okay? Put your finger on the E word. Okay? Make sure you check your elbow partner, your table partner. Make sure that if they haven't found it yet, they found it. Put your finger on the E word. Okay? You guys put your finger on the E word. Okay, is the word that you're pointing to, is it emphysema?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things, we're going to do one last thing before we leave and get an exit ticket and check out of here. One of the things my dad had was emphysema. And it's something that we're going to spend quite a bit more time talking about and breaking down that vocabulary word on Monday. But emphysema is, how many of you have asthma in here? Does anybody have asthma?
I had it.
Okay, I have asthma. Using your hands, not your mouth. Okay. For those of you that do have asthma, it's put me in the hospital a few times. But what happens is, it's harder to breathe when you're having an asthma attack. It's like you're gasping for your last breath all the time, and it's uncomfortable. Okay. Well, people that have emphysema, when we're talking about emphysema coming from cigarette smoking. Okay, we'll talk about what emphysema is with the alveoli sacs, and we'll break that down. But they struggle breathing. And you see some people walking around with an oxygen tape, and it might be because they do have emphysema. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys, and we're just going to do this pretty quickly, and we're going to talk about it on Monday, because this will take a lot out of you. Go ahead and pass these out. Put them in your mouth, and stand up. Without talking. These are straws. Put these in your mouth. Okay, pass them out. Put them in your mouth and stand up by your chair.
Let me get my.
This is emphysema. Okay. Go ahead, stand up. Put the straw in your mouth. What we're going to do, and we're not going to spend a lot of time with this, but what we're going to do, these are stir straws, so these are not even straws that you would normally drink out of. Okay? You are going to, you know what it's like to breathe, relax, and how you feel. We're going to emulate what it's like for somebody to have emphysema. So, you are going to plug your nose and only breathe out of this straw, and you're going to march. But listen, don't do it yet. If you get lightheaded, please sit down. I don't want anybody trying to prove a point. You do not win a prize or an award if you last the longest, because I'll be the first one to quit, and I'm okay with that.
That's all.
Okay? If you get lightheaded, please stop. But what I'd like you to do is to march in place, plug your nose, and breathe out of this for the next 10 seconds. I'm already done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and sit down. Okay, take the straw out of your mouth. Okay. So, if you did it correctly, meaning you didn't breathe out of your mouth, unless you were doing it through the straw and you were breathing in and out of the straw, it was pretty difficult. Think about living your life like that. Okay? I'm going to end with that thought because that's something that we're going to carry on into Monday. All right? We're going to carry that into Monday and describing emphysema. Here's what's going to happen. Your sheets, I need you to keep them. Okay? Your sheets that you have right now, and I need you to bring them back on Monday.
Can I get the straw?
If you would like to, that's fine. Normally I'll collect them, and I'm not going to. So, I need you to log off the computer. I thought we were going to use those one more time. I need you to write your name on this exit ticket. Can I get a timeout?
No.
We're best friends now.
Ladies. Ladies, including Emma. Okay, so you are keeping your papers, yes? Okay, see, you are going to get an orange piece of paper. This is going to be your exit ticket out of my classroom. Okay? On this, I want you to write down 2 things that you learned today. Not that you already knew, 2 things that you learned today. Whether it was difficult to breathe through the straw, whether it was the definition of a drug, or one of the other drugs. These papers right here, leave these on the table if you've already collected or passed these out. Go ahead. If you've already passed it out, fine. You're going to get them on Monday. Just keep them. Okay, write down 2 facts that you learned, 2 things that you learned today. If you choose to write down just one question, you can even just write down one question. One question or 2 things that you learned. Yes, please write your name so that I can see where you're at. I'll take those. So 1 question or 2 things that you learned. If you still have a question on just some of the things that we talked about that you're like, we need to talk a little bit more. Okay? 1 question or 2 facts that you learned. Yes. You have an extra one? Sure. I was.
What was the point of doing that? What was the point of doing this morning?
Wait, I thought we were also gonna finish the one paper that we